Hey up everyone, hope we're all doing well. Jorge Masvidal has called out Leon Edwards.
Give me the Leon fight, and then after that, I fight whoever has that damn belt, and then let's go, bro. Leon just came out being the champion, bro. Anybody else beats him and giving him a title shot? What would they give me?
So there we have it. Masvidal says Leon, and then after Leon, a title shot. And I'm here to tell you, no. And the funny thing is, I've seen people in the comments of this YouTube video saying, yeah, I like that idea. I think Masvidal versus Leon Edwards would be great. No, maybe like, what, 6 years ago, when they had that altercation backstage and the whole 3-piece in the soda, you know, all that great, brilliant. And they were scheduled to fight at one point until Masvidal pulled out so we could get the Colby fight, which to be fair, I don't blame him for. But no, that ship has clearly sailed now. Like, Jorge Masvidal hasn't won an MMA fight since 2019. I mean, if we just look at the last 3 wins that Masvidal was able to get in MMA, all in 2019, by the way, it was a great year. Darren Till, who's now no longer doing MMA, he's not part of the UFC and is doing Misfits boxing, influencer boxing, whatever. Ben Askren, who's now retired and also got slept by Jake Paul in influencer boxing. And then Nate Diaz, who Masvidal just lost to in a boxing bout. But if you just want to talk about his last few performances in MMA, he's on a 4-fight losing skid. Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, and Gilbert Burns. And again, like I say, those 3 wins came all the way back in 2019, and none of those guys are active in MMA anymore. So why should he get a crack at number 4 ranked Leon Edwards? And as a Leon fan, you'd think I would want this fight because I feel like this is a very winnable fight for Leon Edwards. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, but this just isn't right. Jorge Masvidal shouldn't be, you know, retired from MMA for a few years, be on a 4-fight losing skid and lose a boxing bout to Nate Diaz on the side and be able to worm his way back into fighting someone who's in the top 5 of the welterweight division. That doesn't sit right with me. But I'm already aware that people are going to make arguments and say, oh, well, this fight would sell and business-wise, it'll be a great move because of, you know, the UFC love Masvidal, his name value, even though I think it's quite fair to say his name value has fell off a lot compared to how high it was in 2019. But regardless, still a decent-sized name. Already bring him back, and if he's able to get a big win against Leon, well, then you got a top star in that welterweight division. And same goes for Leon Edwards. It's kind of hard to get gas his fights up right now, other than maybe him and Ian Gary, because that could be a bit, and him and Masvidal. Other than that, it's kind of hard to get people excited for a Leon Edwards fight right now. So because of that, maybe we should do Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal. I understand the business perspective of that, but still, it's just not right. It doesn't make any sense. And again, I feel like, oh, what? How are you going to market this fight? Something that happened 6 years ago and should have been resolved 6 or 5 years ago, didn't get resolved, was about to get resolved, but then Masvidal pulled out to go on the Colby fight because that was a bigger fight instead. And now we're going to do it all of a sudden because Leon's on a 2-fight losing skid and Masvidal's been irrelevant, I think that's quite safe to say, for the past few years now. And if any of you are in that bandwagon, you say, oh, well, it's a business at the end of the day. Yeah, you are right. But then I hope you stuck to that same narrative when it came to Jones versus Stipe, because that was a bigger name value and whatnot, being the heavyweight GOAT versus the light heavyweight GOAT, or the GOAT in general, and Stipe versus Jones, instead of doing Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, which is what everybody wanted and was the right thing to do. Like, if Masvidal is to actually come back, I would want him to fight someone in the welterweight division who's outside of the top 15, as I think that's quite fair. Maybe someone like Kevin Holland, as I know there's been a bit of beef there as well. I wouldn't mind that fight. Maybe Jorge Masvidal versus Rafael dos Anjos. Not the most exciting, but RDA is outside the top 15 just about. Wouldn't mind that one, low-key. Maybe Brian Battle, someone who's up and coming, something along those lines. And then maybe you could make an argument for someone within the rankings who's just outside the top 10 for like a rematch with Wonderboy or something like that, because nothing's really going on with Wonderboy right now. There's not much talks of him, so that's kind of, you know, whatever. Maybe MVP, I don't know, but even then I think that's still quite unfair on a lot of other people in that welterweight division. I think he should be fighting outside the rankings. You can't be on a 4-fight losing skid, be retired from MMA for a few years, lose a boxing fight to Nate Diaz, and then just come back and think you can get a top 5 fight or even a fight against someone in the rankings, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm not hating on Jorge Masvidal. I think he's doing the right thing. He's doing what he's meant to do. calling for a big fight. That's what he's meant to do as a fighter, trying to get back into the UFC and trying to get, you know, close to that title that he was never able to win. I don't blame him for doing that at all. but it's just not realistic in my opinion, and it shouldn't happen. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Would you be interested in seeing Masvidal versus Leon? When do you think Masvidal will come back? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.